Hey Dave.
Hi there. See you again.
I know, it's not been that long compared to the last time. But you must be pleased with yesterday's result. I guess it makes the lack of sleep almost worth it.
Yeah, no, look, it was a huge win for us in Premier League. Tottenham are one of the top teams and have been playing exceptionally well. So for us to go and get a result was exceptional.
I guess in that game you didn't necessarily dominate possession-wise that game, but you worked to your strength massively, especially in that second half. What did you say to the squad in the second half in the changing room? Because it seems to be a completely different team that showed up.
Well, I've said many times, I think at the start of the season, no, possession doesn't necessarily win you the games. But it's better if you have it and you might give yourself a better chance. But we found another way of getting a result. But yeah, we hadn't been particularly good in the first half. We'd sat off just too much. The second half we improved greatly and got ourselves a better opportunity and a few chances to score. So no, all credit, the players done a really good job.
Yeah, I guess one of those players that's been quite well, we continue to speak about, is Jarrod Bowen. He seems to be playing a lot more centrally at the minute, and I guess it's working for him out and out as a number 9. What is it about him that makes him so good, especially in that second half where I guess he got a lot more on the ball and was pushing a lot more forward and just was a lot more aggressive?
Well, I think Jarrod can play. He can play the centre forward as well. I thought that for a couple of years. I thought he was developing into it, and probably the history here at the club. If you look back, we had Marko Arnautovic, who was a wide player, and when we came in the first time, we made Marko Arnautovic into a centre forward, or put him centre forward, and he'd done a brilliant job for us, Marko. And then we've done a bit the same with Mickey Antonio. Was mainly a wide player and moved him through the middle. And I think because of it's so difficult to find centre forwards or buy centre forwards who you can bring in and get success. I think sometimes the ones you've got, Jarrod, I think, has always scored goals, even when he was at Hull and when he's come here, and he scored a lot of goals off playing on wide areas. But I think he can play centre forward, and he's proven it and shown it now that he can do it. It's not to say that we'll always play him centre forward. We'll be happy to play him wide again, and there'll be games we choose to play him wide, and there'll be games we choose to play him centre forward, depending on what games. So we're really pleased. He's got another goal away from home. He's I think he's getting 9 goals. I think this season at the moment is whether he's playing wide or centre forward. We're not at that. We're not halfway through yet. So if he keeps these numbers up, hopefully by the end of the season he could have a really good number of goals this year.
Yeah, and he scored his 50th goal for the club. Thanks for that, Ian. Earlier on. And is the plan, I guess, to keep him there long term? I know you've got a lot of things to think about: League Cup, Europa League, lots of games coming up. Rotation is a huge part of the team, but is the longevity for him to kind of play a bit more forward?
I think probably in depending on how we see it going. Do we need him to play centre forward? We've got an injury to Mickey Antonio at the moment. Do we need him to play wide? Do we think it's better for us going forward? So I think we're pretty open to using him in either position. He's been very good wherever he's played. I hope he can keep pushing to be part of Gareth Southgate's squad and gives himself a chance of maybe going to the Euros. And I think if you're a goal scorer, I think every manager wants people who can score, whether you play from wide areas or whether you play through the middle.
Yeah. And someone else, I guess, a number of players performed quite well yesterday. Mohamed Kudus, I guess, his work is not necessarily on the ball a lot of times. A lot of the work he's doing is off the ball and kind of causing a lot of problems for the other teams away in that sense. How important is that, as well as having someone like Jarrod that scores the goals in those games?
Mo's been exceptional in so many different ways. He's been an assist maker. He's been a goal scorer for us. And I think he's getting used to the demands of the Premier League. And I think even from the opening games, I think he's improved greatly. His work rate for the team. And I can only see him improving as time goes on. You have to remember this, that a boy who's only come into the Premier League 3 months really now was quite late in bringing him in the transfer window. And I think he's played ever so well. Good boy, working hard for the team and scoring and making goals.
Yeah, well, looking ahead to Fulham now, another London derby. I guess yesterday was great, but the previous London derbies haven't been, I guess, as promising in that sense. What can you expect from a team like Fulham, especially considering their last game where they performed so well?
I think Fulham are very good. They played very good well last season. They've come into a little bit of form as well, and they've got a really good manager. they've got good players in their team. So every game in the Premier League's hard, you know. And sometimes you can win some you don't, and you know, all these games are tough in London.
I guess Fulham are quite similar in the sense that they lost Mitrovic over the summer, kind of had to rely on a lot of the other players to step up, and they have done it in a lot of ways. How can you expect that front line to really pose a lot of challenges to you defensively?
Well, I think you can see by the goals they scored. I think they scored 3 against Liverpool and they've scored 5 in midweek against Forest. So whatever they're doing, they're getting it right at the moment, you know. And I think that Fulham have been a sort of progressive team in the last few years and steadied themselves and become a really strong Premier League team, where they had sort of yo-yoed a little bit for a few years. I think now they've become a sort of a Premier team where everybody accepts and sees them as somewhere in the middle of the league, so they're doing really well.
Lovely. Sorry, just lastly for me, team news. I should have started with that actually. Is there anything to expect?
Well, there's nothing, no team news to give out while we're reporting in so early. We're waiting on the players coming in and checking how things are. We'll see how we do and get the players back recovered, and hopefully we'll find out a little bit more in the next few hours.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Great win last night.
Thank you.
Everyone's going to be discussing Bowen and Ward-Prowse, but also Fabianski had a really strong game. What did you think of his performance and his importance of being consistent going forward?
I said it last night in my press, was to say that Lucas Fabianski is a superb goalkeeper, has been for years and years here, and played. I had no worries about putting him in. I wasn't surprised how well he played and how comfortable he was, and he's just been a really good goalkeeper for us over the years. Was unlucky to have to step aside for Alphonse to go into the team. Alphonse has played very well as well for us, but I think last night Lucas was excellent. He really was.
And you've spoken about how it's sort of a game of two different halves. Definitely after the opening goal for West Ham, there was a lot of belief. He was winning second balls. Going forward into this another away London derby, what do you think this performance against Spurs will do for the team mentally and for another confidence in a tough stadium?
Well, we've only won one game. We get 3 points for the win against Tottenham. We don't get any more than that. Yeah. But I do believe that the performance and the result hopefully will give us a little added confidence and belief. It was a big night for us, and we've got to move on to the next game. I mean, the scheduling's incredibly difficult. You know, we're playing Thursday nights all the time, by the looks of it, and playing Sunday. We'll get very little recovery time. But overall, we hope that we can get ourselves back ready for another game. Two away games as well. I think that's the way this period's worked. You know, most teams have either got 2 away or 2 at home. We've got 2 away. Thankfully, the travelling's not too far, but nevertheless, it's still 2 games away from home. And I think a win at Tottenham was a great start to these 2 games.
And last night, Kudus seemed to start the game more centrally with Bowen on the right, and then that did change as we got further into the game. Was that planned? Is it always going to be flexible in the attack going forward within the game, or are you going to sort of adapt that to Fulham and the opponents that you have in the future?
Well, you're right. We did. We started with Kudus more centrally last night. Started with Jared wider, and we changed as we went along. And we always had the plan was to change and feel adaptable, and we can play them there. I think there'll be moments in games where we feel that it's better than swapping around. No, we've not really seen Mo playing so high, but he certainly has played centrally a lot for Ajax before he came here, and we know that. And probably going forward, there's maybe where he'll become more of a central midfield player or attacking midfield player. But he's doing a great job at the moment. As I said, talking about his goals and his assists which he's got. But we just felt last night the way we had to contain Tottenham and then sort of build from there was the plan. And for long periods it worked. Other periods in the game it didn't look so good, but for long periods we done the job and we got the result we were looking for.
Wonderful, thank you.
Lauren?
Hi there.
Last time we spoke, I asked you about that kind of streak of London games that you had. So 2 out of 3 are done. You always said they're the most difficult. You're unbeaten in those. How does that kind of lift the team remaining unbeaten in those more difficult London games, as you said?
I don't think I've certainly looked at these games in London, as you're calling it, any different than I look at any games against any other part of the country or any other teams in the Premier League. I think there's a slight difference in the game against Tottenham, because obviously it's seen as a little bit of a derby from our supporters' point of view. But I think overall, you know, whether it be Palace, whether it be Arsenal, whether it be Fulham, I don't think it's any different to any other teams in the Premier League, and we take it as in, and that's why I get asking the question there about, you know, not done so well in the London derbies. I think we must have done quite well in other games then if we've not done well in them.
Yep, and Fulham Sunday, a team with slightly kind of mixed results so far. What's your thoughts going into that game against them on Sunday, and what Marco Silva has done for them since joining?
I think Marco Silva's done a great job getting them up, stabilising them. I generally think that Fulham are becoming a more, if it would be fair to say, a regular Premier League club, and they don't look as if they're going to be in any danger of getting relegated in any way. I think they've been competitive in the Premier League. I think they've got good players, and they're obviously going to be a club like ourselves at times who you may have to sell at different times, and they've got that, but they've got some good players. But I think they've got a good manager. They really have, and I think he's been doing a good job over several years.
And looking at results recently as well, in November you did really well, you got 5 wins. December you've already had a win. Kind of looking back to October, I think there was 5 losses and just 1 win. I was wondering if you could sort of like pinpoint perhaps what was kind of going on with the team at that time, and how they've sort of picked up since. What if you know has been like the cause behind those? Probably
more to do with the opposition and the other teams we play. I mean, to think that we would be a side that would just go and win every week and think that we're going to be that, it would be wrong to be that. I don't think we are that. I don't think your Man City or Liverpool, a lot of the top teams might do it regular, but I think we're a side which is going to find that we have streaky, maybe might be the right word, where we might go on good runs. We're on a good run at the moment. We weren't on such a good run in October, so you remind me. So I think that's going to happen.